Let's see, let's hope everything's going okay with that. Look at that. It's a bit bright on the camera there, so let's pull that on over. Get some of that light out. Let's see if that's any better. Is that any better? Bit bright through those curtains in it. Nobody in yet. I'm watching Mighty Paco. Hello, thank you for coming in. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm just getting everything set up. Just get everything set up now. I didn't turn up last week. I weren't too. Have we got frozen again? Let's see if I can switch on mobile data. Hopefully that should end any problem. Can you see me all right? Is that? It's a bit bright, isn't it, with that? Brian, hiya Digger, hiya Nicky. Is picture okay? It's a bit bright with the sun's coming through the curtains, isn't it? Some backlight from the window. Right, let's see if I can. Is that a bit better? Thank you, Brian. Excellent, excellent. I'll just move. I've got my screen over here so I can see. Hello, everyone. Thank you all ever so much for coming. Great stuff. What I'm going to do is show you what locomotives I've got down here. Now we'll try it with this one first, and we'll see if it looks all right on the screen. Blasted screen, isn't it, son? Cheers. Now this is the first Class 31 I bought. It's brush type 2, and I got this cheap. It's a Transrail. I got it for £30 on Facebook. I bought it off a group, you know, a buy and sell group. It's Bestcott Traction Maintenance Depot, and it's got the symbol on there for the rail, and it's got the Bestcott symbol on there as well. Nice little locomotive, very, very cheap. I weathered it up dirty myself, and I paid £30, and it's a decent little runner. Runs all right. It is a Lima. Lima aren't known for being brilliant, but they're not the worst. They're not the worst, but for 30 quid, it was a good... It is, Brian, yeah. It's double O gauge, and they're all analog. They're all analog. David, thank you for coming. Hello, my friend. Simon, hope you're doing well, Mister. I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Nicky. I appreciate this. The next one is a Class 47. It's more or less mint condition. And this too is a Lima. And I can't I can't remember. It's Royal Engineers Postal and Courier Services. I absolutely cannot remember where I got this from and how much I paid for it. So if there's anybody watching who sold it me, which is a distinct possibility, let me know. But I absolutely, for the life of me, I can't remember where it is. Now that's the first of my 47s. I've got quite a few 47s. This next one, 7 AM, crikey, that's early. That's early, David. The next one I've got is this 47. It's Captain Sensible and Cotswold Rail. Now Cotswold Rail are defunct, they don't exist anymore. This is a Vitrains, and I paid 50 quid or 55 quid from the model shop in the next town. Not the new model shop that's just opened in my town, the one in the next town. And it's an absolute beautiful runner. It's superb. It runs really, really well. Slow speeds, high speeds. It's very well detailed. You see the fans in the top. It's got individual wipers on it and all kinds of things. It really, really is a nice loco. Yeah, quid, pound, British pound sterling. We're still running in that. And this were £55 off Gordon, and I think it was one of his personal ones, and it came all boxed up and everything in the original box. Beautiful loco, runs superb. Now the next one is a Lima Class 60. It's in the Load-All livery, and it's quite well detailed, you know. If you look at these panels on the sides and things. Thank you all for coming. Hello, Oscar. Thank you. This, believe it or not, I bought it from on eBay. If you go to Rails of Sheffield, they have an eBay shop, and they have lots of things for sale, and they say whatever the price is, or make me an offer. And I can't remember how much it was. It might have been 38 quid, which is cheap. So I offered them 30 quid and they took it, and I got this, and I can't believe it. It's an absolute stunner for that money. It runs really well. The only thing I could find wrong with it was one windscreen wiper missing on this end, and that's all I could find. It comes with a detail kit and the original box and everything. And I offered them £30 and they accepted it, which is incredible. Really, really nice. Like I say, what you got to remember is I'm analog here. I'm not running DCC yet. Not to say yet. I may well do at some time. If I had to build a new layout, I probably would build it DCC. But I don't know. I've got so many locos that are DC only. A layout with both on would be better, wouldn't it? Probably. This, a little Deltic Meld 00 scale again, and this is a mess. Very messy. I think, yeah, it's a Lima, and it was on Facebook. It'll clean up, but I kind of dirtied it up myself to make it look as like this. The paint job, it was hand painted, these yellow panels, and they're not brilliant. You can't scrutinize them, otherwise you'll realize how bad it is. It was sold as a non-runner, £15. Yeah, I could get that windshield wiper. Yeah, I could. And it was sold as a non-runner for £15, which is neither here nor there. Posted 15 quid on Facebook, again, one of the sales groups. All it needed was a really good cleaning up, and it runs really nicely. At low speeds and high speeds. It's not it doesn't need a lot of juice to get it going like some of the older ones. Yeah, Fred, that's true. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur in that respect, but I like it. You know, the sound modules, if you really want sound and all the rest of it, I've got plenty of gadgets for that type of stuff, and some more in the pipeline. The next one, I got a couple of these 37s. Great Rocks. I think I may have got this. Yeah, Nikki. Yeah, there's a lot that still are DC, and will remain so. I know it does, Brian. It brings it up another level. It really does with the sound. I'm very sorely tempted to DCC, but I'd have to chip everything. I'd have to chip. Hiya, John. Thank you for coming. train tech have been taken over by Gauge Master, but there's other stuff in the pipeline, you know, with sound. It's not just them guys that are up to it. A lot of people are. A record deck in the shed, yeah, vinyl. And this, I think it was Rails of Sheffield, but I'm not sure. I bought it cheap. None of them I haven't paid a lot of money for. It's a nice little runner, and it's a well-known loco, Great Rocks 688. And I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it'll have been about 30 to 40. I won't have paid more than that for that. The next 37 is this Rail Freight R63, and I bought this, and it's got geared running gear on both ends, a running bogie on both ends for a motor, but there's only a motor in one end, and it was something on the junk stall, second-hand stall at the local show up in the next town. It's been knocked about. If you look at that buffer, it's broken and stuff like that, and I got it for 20 quid and it ran. And so for that price, it's worth it. I can mess about with it and have a do messing and doing things with it. The next one is the Hornby Super Detail Class 50. Really heavy, right rail, and runs really well. Superb runner. Not a lot wrong with it. But there is a tank missing on this side. If you see from there, there's that tank missing from this side, and for that reason, and it's DC again, it's not chipped, isn't this one, although it could be, it's DCC ready. For that reason, I got it for £50, and it's a beautiful little runner. It really runs well, runs nice, flashing lights, all the bells and whistles and everything, and yeah, another good bargain. And if you're only running analog, it's easy to pick up lots of things that you can just plonk down. I have some still in the train shed, but those are a couple of little shunters and stuff that I didn't bring through. So for now, that's where they are. I've got a Class 47 Diamond Jubilee, and I'm thinking I got this on Facebook because I just don't remember. I should write it down where I get them from, but you don't think, and it's not over important. There's no toe bracket on this side at the main cab. Now, I could have took that off, I'm not sure, and I'm going to put the snow plough and what have you on. It could have been me that took that off, and so we're going to tow it from this end with the big, it's the big tension lock D-rings, you know, moulded into the bogie, and I prefer NEM pockets, you know, you can swap and change and do all sorts. The next one, I remember this one very well. A Class 86 electric, or diesel electric loco. This was a present off Rachel and Sean in Crewe, and I don't have many electric locos, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a thing with me until I started looking at them, and I do, you know, there's some nice ones, isn't there? There's some nice ones, and I've come over to that side of electric ones as well. This is a nice one, and they don't do them anymore. They don't run these in the actual fleet, don't Freightliner, but it is a nice locomotive, and it was a lovely present, was that. So that one didn't cost me a lot of money. The next one, the Class 43. This is what got me back into model railways again. I'd been absent for quite some time in the railways. Yeah, there is some nice ones, Brian, and I was adamant at first that I wasn't going to bother. I wasn't going to bother with them, but I have come over. There's some nice ones. I like them. Now this is what got me in back into it and all the rest of it. So it was something I'd always wanted to do, and a friend of mine, he knew I'd been wanting to do it, and he sold me the set, full set, for 50 quid, which is dirt cheap. Good friend of mine, Johnny Smith. And this is the Maiden Voyager engine car, and I've got a dummy. It comes with a dummy car and a few carriages. I bought a couple more carriages for it as well, and that the Class 43, which is an icon all over the UK, as you know. And this next one, the 58, was Hornby did make a dummy one of these with no engine at one time. It did say, yeah, Virgin. It was Virgin Transport, that Virgin Rail. They're not about now here. This Class 58, and I can't again remember where it's from. I really can't, but I know they did. Hornby did a dummy one of these as well. Hiya, Joe. Thank you. Sorry, Nikki. David, how are you doing? How are you doing? I've switched my mobile data on as well as the household data, so I don't know why it's coming in and out. Yeah, it's a nice one to have, is this. Again, I bought it from somebody on eBay. Leslie Gilpin, thank you for coming. How you doing, mate? I bought this from eBay, and I've absolutely no idea who from or how much I paid. But again, it won't have been a lot, 35 quid or something. I don't know why it's buffering, guys. I really don't. I'm using the phone. I was latched into the house internet, but I've put my mobile data on as well because we had this problem last time. Fixed line internet, that should work better. Yeah, I'm using the Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'd have to run a right long cable. The modem's downstairs. Right, this one is a beauty. I really like this one. This is the Class 66. Again, I'm sorry it keeps going off, doesn't it? I'm gonna have to get this internet sorted. This came from, what's that hanging down? Bit of a cobweb. This came from the local model shop again in the next town up, and this was one of Gordon's from his personal set, and it really is nice. I paid £80 for that one, which is probably the most I've paid for a used loco. Ah, nice one, David. Yeah, it is bad weather, storm everywhere. And this, it does not like a second radius. It won't have it. And I know some of the Cura scales stuff, although they haven't done a 66, they've done double bodied wagons and locos that are quite happy on a small radius as well. Tim at Scrapline, hiya mate, thanks for coming. So that's the one that I use on the outer bigger line because it's not happy. It's not happy on the inside line that's a smaller loop. And the last one I've got to show you is this, the advanced passenger train. Yeah, you've got to watch out. But anyway, I tried it and it didn't like it. So, but the 66 is more than happy on the others. Some points and things they don't like running through either. I got this. This isn't the latest one that's out. You know, the 500 quid set or whatever. Hiya Matthew. And I bought this. There was a new model shop opened up in my town, and I went down to see it. And the fella who owns the model shop had a few of his own. Anthony Dodge, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming. He had some of his own locos to sell. And he had this in a box. The pantograph was in pieces, in pieces. He didn't know if it was complete, and he didn't know if it were a runner. And it came with the engine car, 2 passenger cars, and 2 of these driving cars. Couldn't do it fast enough. I had no hesitation. Even if it were a non-runner for £40, you cannot go wrong. And it wanted a clean up. It wanted some weight putting back in the driving car, and the pantograph went back together beautifully. And Jerry, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming. And it runs like a treat. It really does. And I don't know if any of you across the pond know about the APT, but it's a very sad, horrible, lamentable story. British Rail had put tenders out for a high-speed passenger train, and the aircraft industry, of which I was a proud employee for many years within the aircraft industry, put some people together for this. Now, they invented the tilting bogie, and the designer of that was a fella called, hiya Rachel and Sean, thanks for coming, called Kit Spackler. Very well known, very, very clever engineer, brilliant man, and sold his idea. Eventually it was sold on, and it's now seen in the Pendolino, which is the exact same tilting bogie that we had 30 years ago for ours. The 43, this one, the 43 beat the APT to the punch. It came out sooner. They had it ready. This one wasn't tested. They didn't get time to do all the tweaking out. They only made a few of them, and they didn't get time to test it and prove the concept properly and tweak it all out and do everything they were supposed to be able to do with it, and actually, you know, test it properly and iron the wrinkles out, which is a great shame. There is one of these at Crew Heritage Centre in Preservation. I think Rachel's took us to see it once, and a tour inside, which were great. And it's just a very lamentable and sad story about what could have been one of the best trains in the UK, and it never came about. Of course, we now have much faster trains in China, Japan, Germany, France, and what have you. We have a lot of much faster. That was a humdinger, it really was. Thank you, Nikki, thank you. Now, what else I've been doing, I can tell you exactly what else I've been up to. I showed you some parts that I've been sent by Tim at Timber Scale, Timber Surf, for his, these are some vents, industrial vents that go on the roofs. And he'd sent me these to do an appraisal on my video, which I did. I did a video for him all about them, and these are the roof vents. Now, he also sent me this chimney kit. It comes in sections, and so you can kind of put all the different sections where you want them. You buy it as a full kit, I think, but you can buy additional sections with filters in and stuff like that. And so this week, this is what I did. I built this up, gave it an undercoat, then I airbrushed it with a steel colour, and I've just put some rust where you'd think water would accumulate when it's stuck outside a factory, and that's on these top surfaces where rainwater would get stuck and sit, and certainly on the top of that bend and on the cowl at the top of the pipe. I've got Jimmy the parrot out, and he's right above me. I've got a bookshelf right high up, and he's up on there throwing things down at me. Horrible parrot. You're naughty, Jimmy. Very naughty, yes. And so I've just put a bit of rust on that, and that is going to be going on one of my next buildings. Hi, Anissy. Thank you for coming. This will be going on one of my next buildings. Now, the shop that they have went live on the 27th of January. So I did go along and I bought. Hi, Sparky. Thanks for coming, mate. Good to see you. And this is something they're making. I don't know how well you can see it. If I get something behind, it's tiny little compressor, and you get a cover. You get this cover that goes over the drive belts and what have you. It goes over separately, so that none of your little men. Yeah, nice detail. This resin printing, you get some really good stuff. And I got some washing machines from somewhere. Where have I put them? I don't know. I really don't. But some domestic washing machines and things, and I managed to get some of those as well. This is the old twin tub. I don't know how many remember that, but it's all I've done is give these a blow over in white from the airbrush, and washing machine with the door open. You can see there, and a washing machine with the door closed. Now these, they could either go inside a building, and probably a couple of them will, but the old twin tub, it's going to go, it's been dumped somewhere. I'm going to dump that somewhere. They are indeed, Anthony. They're and Tim's scale's been at it a while, but he's kind of gone live with this scale 3D. Jumble Lane, they're going to be one to watch. Jumble Lane, my words, are going to be one to watch. There's a lot of things happening there, and they're kind of going to be the big boys on the block, I think, with the way things are going there, and the funds and everything, and the people that's getting involved with Jumble Lane. It's going to be a good bit of competition, and that's good news for us modelers, because they're very good prices in the superb products, and they've got more stuff coming. They've got more stuff coming of Jumble Lane. So that's about everything I've been doing so far, and that's about where I'm up to. So let's have a go through some comments. Oh, JD's here. Grandpa Rails, thank you for coming. Thank you. I really appreciate everyone coming over. It does, Jerry. Yeah, the resin's better than the filament printing. I do have some things made out of that filament, like this a Railway Scenics company, to do a review, and I did do a review. Now, because it's filament printed, it's not the best detail, and it's a bit wonky and what have you in places, like the drawer fronts. The drawer fronts are a little bit wonky, but it is what it is, and it's kind of cheap and cheerful, you know. But there are some good filament printers. There really are some good filament printers. But the absolute very best at the moment in time are resin and the 3D metal printers. That's going to be all the rage. And so the filament printers are good. They do have a place, and I suppose you could do. Yeah, David. Yeah, what a pub that was. The Vulcan was one heck of a pub, my friend. It really was. Yeah, I've spent many a drunken night coming out of there. Yeah, there is a place for resin printing, and especially for larger things. You know, if you wanted background walls and things like that, I'm sure they'd be ideal for that. Go on, Nikki. Thank you ever so much for coming along. Thank you very much. Take care, my friend. I appreciate your help. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I don't really have any other resin printed things. I got some barrels. Those were resin printed, and those were very good. You know, the blue chemical barrels that they use for storing paints and chemicals and things like that. And those were very good in the filament printer. But yeah, resin's the way to go. I don't know all the processes involved. You've got to clean it really well, UV cure it, because otherwise it's sticky. but I know like Kathy Millett has the resin printers, and she built a UV box, and it's those strip lights all the way around, and she just plonks that over and plugs it in and leaves it, and you know it's getting an even amount of UV from all over. And the job is with the UV not to have it too close that it misses places. Hiya Mike. I know everyone, this live keeps stopping and starting. It's a pain in the neck. I will have it sorted next time, because next time we'll go straight to the internet rather than using Wi-Fi. So what were I saying? Yeah, the resin. But the details, like I say, the details are far superior. You know, look at the little details on this compressor. If we can focus on that. I don't know, well, it's not focused very well at all, I'm afraid. But believe me, the details, you can even see the lines in the cylinder heads of the pistons for the compressor. You can even see the cylinder head lines and everything like that. And that's resin printed, so it's really, really good. It really is. The other things, I'll tell you what I did get, and I'm not sure if these are, no, I think these are also filament printed, and they're the concrete jersey barriers that we get down. Melvin, hiya mate. Hiya Mark, I hope you're alright mate. The concrete jersey barriers that you get down the edges of roads and centres, I'm using these on the centre of my road bridge to keep the opposing lanes of traffic apart. And I think those are filament printed. Looking at the bottom, there's like a little pattern on there, and those are very, very good. Very good indeed. You can't see. I'll put this light on and see what happens. I did switch it off because it was making things look a bit different. Ian, go see ya. And that you can't see any lines of filament really in that at all, unless you really look. Oh yeah, it's a filament that, but it's a very, very good, very good. So they've done it in tiny, tiny increments that to make it look as good as it is. And I think that's about where I'm up to. I've done nothing else this week, only do those couple of painting those ducts and painting about what I'm going to do with my channel and what have you, and how things are going to develop. And like I say, if you want to watch, my money is on Jubilee Lane. Watch Jubilee Lane, because good things and big things are going to be happening there, I'm sure of it. They've secured some investment, and I'll switch that off. It's terrible, this lighting. They've secured some investment and stuff, and I think it's going to elevate things there very much. And like I say, it's good for us modelers, because it's competition, which is healthy. It's healthy between the manufacturers, and your loyalties either lie with people who are friends of yours in the business, or they lie with the company that gives you the best bang for your buck, really, and what have you. So I'm looking forward to the this year coming up. We should have some good things from these local 3D printing companies, from the smaller companies like that, and from the bigger ones and suppliers and things. So it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. That's about everything I've got to show you this week. We've met the fleet. Dave Trains, how are you doing, mate? Thank you for coming. I'm going to wrap up very shortly, I think, because there's not much else. There's not much else I can show you, but we'll have a chat for a few minutes and see. But yeah, like I say, Scale 3D's just gone live with the products on their website from Timscale. We've got Model U. They do a lot of figures and a lot of architectural detail. They do a lot of drain pipes, and I use them a lot because of the drain pipes and the little brackets and everything that fasten pipes to the walls and that. You don't see a lot of those. Bye, Lee. Thank you for coming. And so because you don't see a lot of them, you know, they're few and far between. But I think other companies might start doing them exactly where you want on the pipe work, you know, and make each one to suit the particular building, which is essential, especially if it's a scratch built building. You need to have the adjustability to put them properly. And the other one, Goodwood Scenics, they're doing a lot of 3D stuff, pipe work and valves and what have you. They have an eBay shop and they have their own website, and price wise you better go into the website than the eBay shop, because they've got to pay the commission to eBay for using that platform to sell from. A list of favourites. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jerry. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the rivet counter side of things, that's true, Model U. They do. They're very good at details, but it's details that if they're not there, you don't miss them. But once they're there, you can't go back to doing it the other way, because you know you can do better. You know what I mean? If you're doing a scratch build and you don't put these pipes on because you don't know about them and you leave it, fair enough. But then when you do discover these pipes and brackets and drains and what have you, and you put them on the building and you see how well they look, you know that you're going to have to put them on all the other buildings, because it's there, it's done. It's not finished unless you do that extra detail that you've found out about. And I love it. That's what keeps me going in the hobby. Scale trains calls the super. Yeah, the rivet count. Yeah, they do. The rivet counter series. But all the latest 3D guys, it's all rivet counter stuff. If you like your rivet counting, I just like the fact that you can adjust the things to your own to suit your own needs, you know. But like I say, if you've got, it's like the fencing with the 3 prongs at the top, you know, the steel fencing. I think Ratio brought that out with 3 prongs at the top. Now you've got that, you really know that fences should be that detailed. Now, scale model scenery laser board, which is really far better than the rigid plastic. I had a couple of derailments when I was acting the goat, seeing it, how fast things would go around bends, and the fencing from scale model scenery actually absorbed a lot of the impact and saved me damaging a loco and doing a lot of damage, whereas the plastic fencing either would have broken or it would have broken and let the loco and its rolling stock come through and break and do some damage. But now scale model scenery are doing the 3-pronged laser board fencing as well, so it's every bit as detailed as the Ratio, but it's not as much money and it's more flexible. So it's much of a muchness wherever you go, and you don't have to be a rivet counter, but once you see details like that, you know, and you know they're available, certainly for me, I see details like that and I want them. I want them on my layout. Once I've seen them, I can't not do. Once I've seen them and used them, I've got to have them on there, because you know it's there, you know it's available, and you know you can do it. And 30 years ago, you would have to make all these things yourself, you know, and make do with whatever you could, and make your own girders out of lollipop sticks and what have you. And now we're lucky we don't have to do any of that. And yeah, it's more expensive, but it's superb detail, isn't it? And if you notice, I certainly noticed that used pre-owned model railway items hold the price very, very well. So you're investing in your layout, and if you wanted to sell everything afterwards, you've had enough, or you wanted to sell one of your buildings, or you're making a change and what have you, you will get a good price. You will get a good price selling them on, because the market demands it. And so you can invest in the little detailing parts and everything like that, and put those in your sale if you're selling the building afterwards, and people will pay extra, more than they would for an ordinary run-of-the-mill used buildings. I mean, I've seen some used buildings, details aren't brilliant, and there's phenomenal silly prices. Okay, David, bye, my friend. Thank you very much for coming. Yeah, you've got to find the balance between, is it worth the hassle? Will I ever see it? It's at the back of the layout, on the back of a building. So I do take that into account, but especially at the front of the layout and places where I'm looking. And at this time of year, because my layout's out in the shed, I don't go out there that much. And especially if it's freezing weather and what have you, I'm not slipping and falling on my way there and breaking my legs or anything daft like that, or catching pneumonia because I'm out in the cold. I've got heating in the shed and it is on. It is on and it's insulated and stuff, but I don't go there often in the winter time. I'm bad on my legs as it is, without skidding about on wet flags and stuff like that. So I end up in here on the modelling bench, taking my time, doing tinkering and maybe upgrading buildings, putting those details on. And so I use this time, downtime from running and playing in the shed, I just use it for doing detailing work, detailing, building, and I'm starting on interiors now, on building interiors, so that when they're lit up. Hiya, Clive, on the main line. Thank you, I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you're well as well, my friend. I'm starting doing the interior details now on buildings. That's why I've got this desk ready. That's going to go into a little building at the back. So the detail isn't brilliant, but it isn't too critical on there. Thank you, Anthony. That's nice of you to say. I do appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's where I'm up to now. I'm starting doing interiors on buildings, so that when I light them up, we don't just see the ground. You know, we're going to do some interiors. And again, scale model scenery. If you remember the club, there's free downloads that are floor coverings, tiles, carpets, wooden floors. You can have the old-fashioned wooden floor beams, or you can have the new laminate floors, all the lot. And there's lots on free download. I've just downloaded a lot of tiles and things free, so that I'm putting a tile floor in a shop and things like that. So there is a lot to do, and that keeps me out of mischief when I'm not in the shed. My locals are in here because I brought them in at the start of winter. I brought them all. There was some mold came onto some of the surfaces on the layout, and I cleaned that off and I put a fan in, an air mover, and that cured it, touch wood. But and I've got lots of silica gel bags. You can buy a load of those and you put them with everywhere you want to keep components dry and damp free. And I thought, I'm not risking all the locals being out there. If a disaster, touch wood, hope it doesn't, if a disaster happens, at least I've got my locals. Everything else I can rebuild. If something terrible happened, but you'd have to rebuy all your locals, you can't rebuild them. And so I brought them all in for that reason. And I try to give them all a run out. When I get back in the shed, I'll take them all out, give them all a good run round, blow the cobwebs away, then do any maintenance, wheel cleaning, oiling up and stuff like that. What's that now? Yeah, Brian. With me, it's the opposite way around. The winter months, I just can't get them impetus. I can't enthuse myself enough to go out in the cold anymore. I'm old, I'm cold, I'm tired, I ache. I ache already without getting cold, you know. Every morning I ache. I feel like a right old crock. And I've got arthritis in my joints. I've got spondylitis and all that carry on. It's a lot of terrible nonsense. So I just don't want to make myself uncomfortable. Randall, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. So I just take the easy route. I take the easy route and do all my indoor work while I'm here. While it's the winter time, and then somewhere we can get out there, get the doors open, and I'm out in my shorts and flip-flops. Like being on your holidays, isn't it? When the sun's shining, like being on your holidays. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. Oh, I just got in, Randall. I'm sorry, I'm just about going to wrap up. I think we've covered most things that I had for this week. Bye, David. Thank you so much for coming, mate. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. So I think we're going to leave it there. There's not much I've been doing. I'm going to get this internet sorted so that if I come on next Sunday and do another live, we're not going to have this problem of it keep cutting out, which I'm very sorry about. I have to buy a really long wire. Thank you all ever so much. I really do appreciate all your comments and everything. Thank you all for coming, and I shall speak to you all very soon. Thank you all. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks, Les. Appreciate it. So we're going to call an end to this now, and call it a day. Bye for now. Thank you all ever so much. I'm just I'm trying to